killer. Right, slope of a line. Let's get into it. Right, so what is the slope? Right, so the slope of a line represents the steepness of the line. And then another way of thinking about it, which I'll be covering in a later video, another way of thinking about the slope is that it represents the rate of change of one variable in respect of another variable. We'll get to that, to the real life application of the slope, in another video. But in this one video, so a line may look like this. It might have a positive slope, it might have a horizontal or vertical slope, or it might have a negative slope. And I'm going to show you the implications of that now. So these are what my slopes look like. So I could have a positive slope, and my positive slope looks like this. And how I get people to remember this is if the end of my line is pointing upwards, yeah, it's pointing upwards, it's positive, yeah. So I like to think, positive people go to heaven, yeah. Positive people go to heaven. That's why it's pointing upwards. Positive people go to heaven, and conversely, negative people go to hell, yeah, or heck, HE double hockey sticks. Anyway, negative people go to the bad place, right? So if the end of my line is pointing downwards, I'm going to have a negative slope because negative people go to HG double hockey stick. You know what I mean? Then if I have a perfectly vertical slope, if I have a perfectly vertical line, my slope is going to equal 0. So did I say vertical? I meant horizontal. Right? If I have a perfectly horizontal line, my slope is 0. And if I have a perfectly vertical line, my slope is undefined. I'll get into why it's undefined maybe in a few minutes, but I'll show you now anyway. So, how you might be asking yourself, Mr. Riley, how do I find the slope? Well, glad you asked. That's why you're watching this video. Duh. Anyway, so finding the slope. So the slope is denoted by the letter M. Don't know why. Probably some like Latin word or something. No, I'm gonna do it live. I'm gonna look it up. Doing it live. Screw it. Aim it. Why is slope M? It is not known why the letter M was chosen for the slope. Fab. Right. It just says deal with it. Right. So the slope is denoted by M, which is calculated by, so we have two ways of calculating. So it's the rise over run. So it's the rise, meaning the increase in height of my line, or the increase in the y coordinates, and run, meaning the length or the increase of my x coordinates. So the slope of M of the line which passes through a point can be given by the formula y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1. Right? So just to bring your attention back up here. So looking at these two slopes here. So the reason why this slope is 0 is because it's a rise over run. So it's the change or the change in height of my graph over its length, the change in length. So here, what is the change in height of my graph? It's 0. It hasn't changed height because it's perfectly horizontal. So it's going to be 0 on top, and then on the bottom, it's going to be the distance between these 2 points, which is, I was going to call it my run, yeah? But that's going to equal 0 anyway, because a 0 on the numerator of a fraction makes the whole fraction 0. So that's why my slope is 0 there. Now, the reason why this one is undefined, because, so I have my slope here. So I have my rise. So the rise is the change in height. So there is a change in height. I'm going from all the way here to all the way here. So there is a change in height. So I do have a rise. Now, do I have a run though? Do I have a... do I have a length to this graph? Is there a change in length? No, there's not really. It's only going straight up, so there's no change in length, or there's no length to this line, or horizontal length to this line. So I'm gonna have a 0. There's no run. There's no run to this line. So I have rise over 0, and anything divided by 0 is undefined. So that's why it's undefined. You can try it for yourself. Put something over 0 on your calculator. I'm not lying. But yeah, it's undefined. Yeah. 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 Anyway. Right, so let's answer 2 questions here. So, using the formula here, y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1, find the slope of the line AB where A equals to 0.11 and B equals to the 0.43. So, let's use my formula here. So I have m equals, so this would be x1, y1, x2, y2. So it'd be, so y2 minus y1, it'd be 3 minus 1 all over 3 minus 1 all over 4 minus 1, which is equal to 2 over 3. And that's it. I can't simplify it. So my slope, or m, is equal to 2 over 3. And that's my final answer. And now I'm going to do the same. I'm going to find I'm going to find the slope of the same line, but using my rise over run method. Now, before I use my rise over run method, there is a point to note here when it loads. So, it's coming. I hate technology. I'm not editing this, by the way. Oh my god. It's always when I'm teaching third year stuff. Here we go. Right. Nope. Oh my god, I'm gonna have to edit this. No, I don't. Right, here we go. Right. Thank you so much for suffering through technical difficulties. Anyway, so, spoilers. Right. So I plot out the 2 points here, and I have my line. So before using the rise over run method, it's important to note 2 things. So remember, the slope is going to be the same between any 2 points on a linear line, so a straight line. The slope is always going to be the same between any 2 points. Yeah? So when you're doing the rise over run method, try and pick 2 points that will give me whole numbers. You know, like pick 2 points that would be like on the corners of the boxes. You know, like don't be picking like 1 3/4. You know, just like pick kind of whole numbers for yourself to make it easier. And also remember, we read from left to right when we're calculating the rise over run. So if you find yourself going down, your rise will be negative, thus your slope will be negative, right? So what do I mean by that? So if I have a line here, I have a line there. So I find I'm reading from left to right. So I go from this point to this point. So I'm reading, I have to go down, say 5. So my rise will be -5 and my run will be 3. You know. So you're reading from like left to right. Anyway. But this point here, so I'm reading from left to right. So here's 1. So I'm going 1, 2, 3. I'm going 3 across. And then I'm going 1, 2. 2 up. So remember, rise over run equals 2 over 3, which is the same answer I got previously. So just remember, if you are not given coordinates and you're just given 2 points on a plane, you're using your rise over run method, right? So if you're just given a line, on a graph, nothing else, just boxes, you're using rise over run. And you just pick 2 kind of whole number points that will make it easy for yourself to calculate the right answer. Anyway, well, that's all I need to know about the slope for the moment. So, see you when I see you. Well, for you, it might be ages, but for me, it's like in 10 minutes because I'm making a video now on the equation of a line. So, peace.